Good afternoon. I'm Tom Ruhorn. Thank you very much for coming to the interview today. You are?
My name is Marco.
Marco, okay. So Marco, can I call you Marco?
Sure.
Okay. Let's start by asking you to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
Thank you. My name is Marco, and I'm a final year student in HKUST, majoring in operation management with a focus of supply chain management and business analytics. So in the past few years, I have found some practical experiences to complement my studies. So for the past summers, I have the chance to work as an intern in PwC. So my job responsibilities were mainly doing with funding sectors and also private equity sectors. So I have to do with some data research on the sectors I will require to respond. So I need to do some data research on this software that our companies require us to do, which is called Salesforce Power BI, and I need to prepare a deck that I use to discuss with the partner in mainland China. We have a monthly call. So for the past 2 years summers, I have been also working as an intern in marketing company and also in a recruitment company. So in these past 2 experiences, I have worked with cross-functional teams. It makes me feel like emphasize the importance of teamwork, and because I'm responsible to deal with some ad hoc tasks too, so it also emphasizes the importance of adaptability too. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So you kind of mentioned a couple of the skills that we're looking for on the job advertisement. Why should we not hire you?
I think my past experiences, I'm not saying 100% match with what the job responsibility said in the job advertisement, but I think my ability and my past experiences match most of the requirements that you said. I think especially in the past summers, I worked in an intern in PwC. I worked very hard and gained a lot of experiences in terms of like in a financial institutions like PwC, one of the big 4 companies, right? So I think my ability and also my positive experiences could match your requirement.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So you mentioned a couple of different internships,
Mm-hmm.
and you mentioned some specific tasks that you've done in those internships.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you've learned from working with those specific people in terms of teamwork or anything else?
You're mentioning work as a team?
Yeah, what have you learned in terms of your soft skills? So you mentioned a lot of the practical and content-related skills that you've developed. What about soft skills in terms of teamwork, communication, being proactive, things like that? Sure.
I would love to share those experiences. Like, for example, for the last summers, I worked for an intern in PwC. Actually, my department got a few colleagues, so my managers won't get many times to take care of me because I'm just an intern. She got many jobs to do. So my experiences taught me from that experience is that being proactive, and I would like to ask a lot of questions, but only I would ask the questions after I really found I can deal with the questions. I'm not saying I will ask the question immediately if I find the questions, because I want to show to my manager, show to my colleagues, whatever, to showcase my ability of working alone. Also, I'm going to show them I am able to work with them. I'm able to be a proactive internship, be a proactive colleagues, whatever. So I think being proactive and work as a team member is very important.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. So another skill we're quite interested in looking for is somebody who is able to problem solve. Okay, so could you now please tell me about a time when you had to solve a problem and how you dealt with that?
I would like to mention again that the experience in the past summer, which I worked in PwC, that I've previously mentioned in my self-introductions, that my companies require us to deal with a software named Salesforce Power BI, which is a software that I completely unfamiliar with. So I got a very little time to get familiar with this software. it is very challenging for me at that time because I have no experiences to deal with that software, no matter in past internship experience or in school. So I have to deal with this problem basically by myself. So like I mentioned, I am not going to ask many questions to my manager right away when I found the questions. I'm gonna try by myself first, jot it down. If I found some questions that really, really challenging, and then when I found my manager is free or she asked me whether I got any questions, I will ask her right away instead of asking questions when I just find it immediately. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, and so if you were faced with that problem again, is there anything that you would do differently?
You mean I have to deal with the software again, or?
Well, if you had to deal with a problem again, or something which was similar to that situation, would you approach it in a different way?
I would like to, instead of asking my manager, I would love to ask somebody else, because I think, let's say my colleagues, they get more time, at least compared to my manager, because she is so busy. So I would love to, if I have another chance, I would love to ask my colleagues, because we are almost in the same positions, in the same level. So I would love to ask them instead of asking my manager, because I can get to know them and know how to solve the problems through asking my colleagues instead of asking just from my manager. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, we're coming towards the end of the interview. Is there anything you'd like to ask us?
I know I am going to graduate very soon, so the job advertisements that I am, interested in the banking area. So I would like to ask anything that I can be aware of, the news, or anything that I can get to know more about the banking industry.
I'll hand that over to my colleague. Okay, all right, Michael, let's do some feedback.
Thank you.
Keep that going, don't stop it. All right, so the first question, yeah, that was fine, that was nice, a nice overall, length was okay.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
What interesting is the job advertisement that I just upload is that previously I interviewed just a few days ago.
Okay, how did it go? What did they ask you?
Very nervous. 2 managers interview me.
Yeah.
This is actually my first time getting interviewed by 2 managers, because I have interviewed in a any banks at HSBC, Citibank for like 3 to 4 times. I've only this time is the only time that I got interviewed by 2 managers.
Normally it's
one-on-one. Normally it's one-on-one.
Oh, really?
Really, yeah, because it's a final stage. Normally it's one-on-one.
Interesting.
Yeah, really interesting. So when I received the email that I got invitations for the interview, I was like, why? There was 2 managers. I was like very confused. And then when I got interviewed on Monday, and I was like very shocked. There's 2 managers staring at me and take turns asking questions.
You're making loads of notes. Right?
Yeah. I'm interviewing. I can tell you, I'm interviewing at a back office position, deal with part of insurance, but and part of the global private banking. So I think this position is very challenging. They asked me similar questions that you just asked.
Okay.
They asked me to introduce myself in Cantonese.
Okay.
They asked me 3 strengths, 3 weaknesses in English.
Okay.
And what positions I would like to interview if I want to get in, if he or she, the manager, the HR, can give the offer right away.
Right, how interesting.
Very interesting. But this question is what I've been thinking for like 3 to 4 years. So
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
The more interviews you go, the more you can just make a note of the common types of questions, right?
Mhm.
Okay, that's good. So in terms of feedback quickly.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just about language and how you would present it in a slightly more succinct and shorter way, basically. So you mentioned, in terms of being proactive, taking the initiative, not a lot of support available, need to be more independent in how I approach my tasks, things like that.
Yeah.
You repeated the same internship experience, though. Is there a way you could maybe even add something from your studies? It's fine, right? You could mix it up. try to show your range of experience and your range of skills across different contexts would be useful. Yeah, and another thing I would add to this whole idea of asking somebody, asking for help, asking for support, you could ask your colleagues specifically what you could do or where you could go to find the answer out. That shows that you're being proactive, you're taking the initiative, and you're not expecting someone to tell you the answer specifically. You really want to find out the answer, which goes to show that you're willing to develop in terms of your knowledge. Okay. In terms of your CV, it was fine. I like the way you had links added to your CV. I don't see that very often. That is good. Do you need to put your school, college qualifications down, your results, something to think about? Could you make your CV more measurable in terms of quantity, quality, constraints, numbers, outcomes, things like that? Couldn't find the video. Did you do a video?
No, sorry.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that was it. So generally okay, but maybe a bit more kind of think about how you can make things more presentable. That only comes with experience and practice. Okay. All right, so you've got some information there. Take that away, focus on that.